everyone. Today I wanted to share something a little bit different, something that I think is really important that we talk about this time of the year. So today I thought I would share 3 things that I think could change your life and especially change people's lives around you. So for this video, I thought it would be a little more casual than normal, I guess. I'm in a hotel room. I'm actually just sitting on the sofa and thought I would have a little chat with you all. And as many of you know who have followed my channel, my husband and he retired from the fire department, and he retired, I guess, maybe a year ago. So we had a few properties in Florida. I was a realtor. I still am. I do still have my license, but I don't take on new clients. But so we had a few properties and we decided to sell everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. When people ask, well, what is your address? I tell them, well, I have a shipping address at my mother-in-law's, but I don't have a house. And then when they find out my husband and I travel around, they're like, oh, well, when you're not traveling, where do you at least go back? Where's all your stuff? I'm like, well, we don't have a house. We have nothing. So a lot of people find that very strange, which I guess it is kind of weird, but you know, we don't have children, we don't have pets, anything like that. No pets anymore. We used to, but they're in doggy heaven now. We do have a teeny small storage space in Florida where we just saved a few essentials, but we pretty much donated everything. I sold my car. That was pretty much the only thing we sold, and then we sold, you know, all of our properties. So we just travel around. I was traveling around with about 4 suitcases. Pretty much 3 of my suitcases are all skincare and makeup, mostly skincare, and then 1 is like 3 pair of shoes and just a few clothes. Like, as you can tell, I am not into fashion. With us traveling, we're not really able to be into fashion because there's just no room for it. So a lot of people always find that strange, and then they look at me kind of confused when I tell them, no, I don't have a home at all to go to. But we're in Texas right now helping out my mother-in-law, and we just, you know, stay in a hotel when we're here. But the reason I wanted to share this video is because the other day, like I said, I have 4 suitcases. Since I do have 4 suitcases, and since I have gained more weight, anyone else with me on that? I have probably gained 30 pounds since the pandemic started. It's ridiculous. I mean, thankfully I'm like 5'8", so I can hide my weight really well, you know, since I'm a little bit taller. But I'm definitely starting to get it in my stomach. That's something I do really need to work on. But as I was going through my suitcases, I was like, what the heck? I can't even fit these pants anymore, and there's no way. I mean, I would have to lose 30 pounds, you know, to fit you know, certain things I had in my suitcase. So I thought, since we're traveling and I only have 4 suitcases, so I thought, you know what, if it's a clothing item or shoes or whatever that I'm not wearing, and I probably don't plan to wear it within the next year. I mean, I doubt I will lose that much in the next year, but I figured if I'm not going to use it right now, I should just give it away. So that's my very first point of this video that I wanted to share, that, you know, most people have a house. Most people aren't, you know, homeless, I guess, like me, going from place to place to place, trying to figure out where their next stop is. When I had a house, I gave a ton of stuff away. I am not a hoarder. I don't even like to have a bunch of knickknacks all over, you know, an end table. When we had, you know, our property, I would have just one really pretty simple lamp on an end table, maybe a picture, that's it. But I do not have clutter everywhere. It just drives me nuts. Now, if you saw this hotel room right now, you would be like, you're lying, because there's clutter everywhere. But that's because pretty much everything we own is in this hotel room. So it's kind of a hot mess right now. If I turn this camera around, you would see what I'm talking about. So even when we had our properties, I regularly would go through, you know, my closets, drawers, the kitchen, and I would look at stuff. And a little tip or trick that I heard from somebody, probably on one of those organization TV shows, they said, if it's something that you have not used in a year and you don't plan to use it within the next few months, you need to donate it, or, you know, give it to somebody else that could use it, unless you think that, you know, it's something you absolutely are going to use. Well, I think for most of us, if we go through our closet, or, you know, especially our kitchen or your kids' room or wherever in your house, I bet 9 times out of 10 you could probably get a huge garbage bag full of stuff that you probably just aren't even using. So what I did is I went through my suitcases again, and I ended up getting 2 big bags, not garbage bags, but like grocery bags, you know, the Publix bags, or, you know, Walmart, wherever you shop, but those little plastic bags. 2 of those bags full of stuff. Now, mind you, this was out of 4 suitcases, technically 1 suitcase, because, you know, the other 3 are pretty much skincare. So half that suitcase is empty now of things that I know I'm not gonna wear. I mean, even things like bras that I might have only worn once, but since I've gained the weight, those bras, they don't fit me. I even had 2 pair of jeans in there that had the price tag on them. It's like, yeah, there's some stretch in those jeans, but how much more am I going to try to make these jeans stretch to fit me now that I've gained the weight? So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and give these away and bless somebody with them as well. So then my husband, he was telling his mom what I did. She's 90 years old. And I would say she is a hoarder, not like the hoarders that you see on TV, but she's like a clean, organized type hoarder where she just likes to have a ton of stuff. Well, he talked her into going through all of her closets and, you know, all of her extra stuff in the house. He just took, I think, 11 or 12 garbage bags, like those huge, hefty garbage bags full of clothes from her house. And many of her clothing items also had price tags on them. So not only does it make you feel good, you know, because you're getting organized and because hopefully you're blessing someone else, but you know, imagine all the people, especially this time of year and with the way the economy is and, you know, people not being able to buy any new clothes, or maybe somebody has to go to a job interview, but they just don't have something that, you know, is presentable. And, or like I said, maybe they need a bra. You know, bras aren't cheap to get a good quality bra nowadays. So if you have things that are in good condition still, they don't have to be brand new with tags, but if you do have things that are in good condition, or even if you have some household items, maybe you have 2 vacuum cleaners, or maybe you have 2 irons, or you know, 800 pots and pans that you know you're never gonna use, call your local women's shelter. That's what I did first, but I don't know this area that well, and so the few that popped up on Google, they didn't answer. I just wasn't able to reach anyone to find out about donating here, because that's what I thought I would do first, is donate to like a women's shelter. Sometimes we'll just give stuff to the Goodwill, but I know that they'll turn around and resell those. And somebody that worked at Goodwill once told me that the workers will go through all the stuff and take the stuff they like first. I don't even know if that's true, to be honest. And you know, hey, if somebody really needs the stuff, then have at it. We ended up just calling a church here in this area, and they said, oh yeah, absolutely, we could definitely use that. That's kind of like my first tip that I wanted to share with you guys. What are your thoughts on that? You know, or do you have a ton of stuff in your house? Do you have like that attic or the closet or drawers that you've been dreading going through, but you know you have stuff in there that you're not going to use? You know, maybe think about blessing someone else in your area. You know, maybe it's a family member, or you can call a church like I did, or a women's shelter. The second little thing I wanted to share, how many of us, well, I know I've done this many times, but how many of you set those New Year's resolutions and then, you know, you're good for like 2 weeks and then you stop doing them? I'm totally guilty of that. Like, I think the majority of people are like, oh, I'm gonna start going to the gym and work out 7 days a week. And I think like gyms say that their memberships go up like sky high right around, you know, right after the first of the year. But instead of setting like some unrealistic New Year's resolution, me personally, I feel like I should be setting a New Year's resolution every single day. Like, I should always be striving to be better and to, you know, to improve, you know, something in my life. So not just that one time a year and then, you know, maybe I flop and I don't stick with it. Why not start now and make a change? One change that I really want to kind of put in your thoughts, see what you think about it, and hopefully, you know, it might be a change that you'll say, oh yeah, you know, I need to work on that, would be to kind of change your mindset and change any of those negative things that you might often speak out loud. So basically becoming positive. Some people might say, oh, well, that's easy for you to say, or, you know, because you're not dealing with this. I think we all deal with a lot of things in life. You know, my life has not always been easy or, you know, perfect. And I'm not saying that we can't vent about things or share things that are negative that happen, you know, in our life or what we're experiencing at the moment. But my whole point is to try to maybe find the positive in negative situations. Now, again, I get it. Some people go through some really horrible things, but I'm specifically talking about on a day-to-day basis. If you're one of those people, you wake up and you're like, oh, I gotta go to work today, and oh my coffee wasn't hot enough, and you walk outside and oh, it looks like it's gonna rain today, and everything your thinking is just kind of in a negative, tone. Why not maybe change that and say, I'm so thankful I get to go to work today, because a lot of people, they're not able to go to work. Or instead of walking outside and seeing dark clouds and complain that, perhaps it might rain, well, maybe it's a great thing that it rains, because that's going to help people's crops to grow or the grass to get green. Maybe something will pop in your mind that's negative, but maybe practice not saying that, not speaking that out loud, and maybe just saying something positive. So I don't know, maybe evaluate yourself and see, am I one of those people that other people don't want to be around because I'm like the negative Nancy and all I do is complain and find the negative in situations? Again, there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism or, venting to your girlfriend. But if you're one of those that you're like Debbie Downer and all you do is, complain, 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 would you want to be around that all day long? And there's times that I feel like, oh man, I'm complaining about my neck too much. I don't complain to you guys, but I wake up in pain pretty much every single day. I've had neck issues ever since what happened in the military. And there are some days that, yesterday I had my soft collar neck brace on because I was in so much pain. But I caught myself a couple times saying, oh my gosh, my neck hurts so bad. But then I realized, what does me keep speaking that out loud? How is that gonna fix my situation? So I really worked hard yesterday on just kind of talking about positive things, just to kind of keep my mood up, because me talking about how crappy I felt was not going to make my neck better, and it surely wasn't gonna make people around me feel happy or positive. So you analyze yourself and see, or maybe you have a girlfriend or a family member that's doing that. Maybe you could just forward this video to them, and so that you don't hurt their feelings. Don't say, hey, watch this video because you're a negative Nancy, and but I don't know, maybe that would kind of help open their eyes if they watch it this far. Working on being more positive in life and finding the beauty in things and finding the good things in things versus only focusing on the bad things, that can most definitely change your life, but it can really change the lives of people around you. Now I wanted to share my last little thing that I think could really change your life and most definitely will change someone's life around you. When my husband and I, when we lived in Hollywood, Florida, not in California, we just had a little condo. I mean, it was, I think, 530 or almost 600 square feet. It was tiny. It was probably the size of many of your living rooms, but we had a really nice one-bedroom condo right on the beach. It was small, but it was perfect for the two of us. But something my husband always did, especially before he met me, and then when we got married, we kind of carried on the tradition. He would invite pretty much everyone that he would talk to. It was usually the older crowd that would, kind of hang out on the beach and stuff, that, they were retired, maybe they weren't married or whatever. He would invite everyone to our little condo on the beach for like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and we would put our dining room table that only had 4 little chairs, and it was a teeny dining room table. But then we would bring like all of the patio chairs and little patio tables in. We would move our furniture in the living room. We would turn this little living room into a whole big like dining room. And so, golly, I don't even know, I think we'd have like 16, 20 people in this teeny apartment, mind you, with 1 bathroom. But it was really fun. And just having everybody around and hanging out, like you could really see, especially the people that, they lived by themselves, they, spent the holidays by themselves. And it really made a difference. It was fun for us just seeing like how happy they were. So my suggestion to you, actually my husband had this suggestion because we were talking about this, that why not call up 3 people, maybe they're friends or family that maybe you don't talk to that often, or maybe you haven't talked to in a long time, or, especially maybe it's somebody who's single or by themselves and you haven't talked to them in years. Why not just call them up and see what they're doing for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or New Year's, if that's something that you celebrate. See if they want to come to dinner. But don't ask them this way. This is what people used to do to me when I was single. I mean, we're having our family and friends over, but you can come over if you want. Don't say if you want. Let them know, we would love to have you over for Thanksgiving this year. What are you doing? What are your plans for Thanksgiving? That's just like a little tip, because when you tell somebody who's already kind of feeling like they're by themselves, maybe they're kind of a loner, or maybe they don't have a spouse, or not any family around, if you say if you want to come over, sometimes people can take that negatively and feel like you don't really want them, but you're just kind of leaving it up to them. So maybe try to word it like, we would love to have you here for this holiday dinner or whatever. You know, do you think that you could possibly come? Maybe something like that would make them, you know, really feel wanted. When I was in the military, I was single for many years, and so I would always work every holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I was an emergency room medical technician at that time, and so I would let all of the people that were married spend the holidays with their family. And of course it didn't bother me any having to work during the holidays, because they would bring in like tons of food. They would cater food for us, and since I love food, it worked out perfectly for me because I got to eat, you know, and not have to cook at all any holiday. Some people probably aren't like that. Some people are very lonely, depressed. We don't know what people are going through. So I thought that would be a great tip. Go through your contacts in your phone, or, you know, somebody that maybe you haven't talked to in a while. I'm sure all of us could even make room for just one more person this holiday season. Like I said, we were bringing in patio tables and had little folding chairs. Nobody cares if you're not sitting in a fancy, beautiful dining room chair or table. It's all about being together, you know, making good memories. Nobody cares about all of those little silly things. If you find it in your heart to reach out to a few people that, you know, maybe you haven't talked to in a really long time, just see how they're doing. Maybe they don't celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas, things like that, so maybe you don't want to invite them for something like that, but at least just reach out to those people. You never know whose day you're going to bless by just, you know, making them feel special and them knowing that you were thinking about them. And that's it. I just wanted to share something a little bit different with you for this video. Something that I do think is really important. You know, beauty, makeup, skincare, and all that, that's fun. That's not like the important stuff in life. So let me know if any of these things that I talked about, if they kind of spoke to you and you were like, oh yeah, I need to do that. Or if you have any other great ideas of things that could, you know, change my life or other people's lives that are reading comments, and of course, change the lives of people around them. I would love, love, love it if you left your thoughts below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.